Oh,
Yeah, man.
insane.
Talking that big pound coin.
I think we're broadcasting.
We are. It says live.
We are live to the nation. It's been 9 months.
It's been a long 9 months. Are we gonna do a proper intro and everything?
No, we're way too unexperienced for that. I think
Yeah.
we'll just go into it. I want to say if
I
we're
want to make sure we're actually live.
Yeah, hang on 2 seconds. I'll cut this bit out in a minute.
Oh.
Yeah, we are live, and then your lovely face is the.
I know, my big head. I've just literally just put it on like stream to test it to make sure it's working to tweet out. There's my big old head.
I don't know how to change that. Don't think we can. Oh well, your head.
My big head is there. Right, I'm going to tweet out this link and then we're going to start this stream. Big thing.
Yeah. Start this stream like we mean to go on.
Yeah. It's been a disaster since the word go, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
First my camera wasn't working, then Skype wasn't working, and now
we have one viewer, but I don't know if that is.
I think that might be me.
Excellent. So we're just watching ourselves.
So it's so meta right now. It's me, watching you, watching me.
Yeah.
Right. I'm gonna get a. I'm gonna tweet this link out and then we will start because we need all the dem people to be watching.
We need the contents. Two participants, not 2 viewers. How thoroughly disappointing. Should be able to do split screen.
Join us, is that a total Cultaholic ripoff? I put Cultaholic. No, I'm literally tagging Cultaholic. I've got Cultaholic on the brain. Do we have a Twitter account?
No, don't think so. No.
This is how experienced we are.
We need to be like bought out by Vince McMahon or something.
We do. Vinnie Mac, if you want to get us on the opening of SmackDown Live next week, then I'm all for it. We are serious journalists, wrestling journalists.
Yeah. We can do a new Talking Smack if you like.
Do you reckon they've copyrighted that name? Because technically it's been about a year since they last used it, so we could. Yeah. We could take it now.
WWE will have. They will have.
Buy me out, Vince.
I'll say both battle royales on the pre-show.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing. We'll talk about it in a second when we probably get into the stream, but I think that's a good thing. Yeah, I don't want to spoil too much already, but
okay, yeah, I know what.
Are you good?
I'm good. I'm good.
In the immortal words of Jake Paul, Logan Paul, are you good, bro?
Yeah, if you want to buy merch, it's in the description below.
Yeah.
We haven't got any designs yet, but we'll
if just people want to make us Primal Wrestling designs. I reckon this.
Hang on.
Screenshot that. That's merch right there.
It is merch.
We'll redesign this. This is the Primal Wrestling Championship.
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna put this away. I'm gonna retire the belt because I can't sit for like an hour or however long the stream's gonna go with that on my shoulders.
Okay. Should we just jump straight into it then?
Should we go for it? Do we have any viewers? We've got one watching now. It's probably me, so I'm going to turn that off. But it doesn't matter. We're all
it's just a chat between two lovely guys.
Lovely guys. There you go. There's a T-shirt. 2 lovely guys.
2 lovely guys. Nothing more.
Andre
the Giant. Battle Memorial Royal.
Do you want to start that again?
Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal.
Who
are you going for?
Wow, right. Let me check because there's not many been announced. How many do they normally have?
Quite a few, I think, don't they?
They usually have about 20, 30, like in one hit. Right, I've got a theory, but I don't want to shoot it out there too soon because I want to save it for my other theory later on.
Okay.
But I'm trying to see who's in the battle royal. Are you all caught up with Raw and SmackDown?
To an extent, yeah. My Raw viewing and SmackDown viewing now usually is located on YouTube the morning after, watching all the clips, so I don't have to sit through 467 adverts. Really.
True that play. Well, they if I do that, is that going to give me the participants? No. Yes, they're doing this whole thing of like the arm bar can rejuvenate a career, it can kickstart a career. Bearing in mind you've got like three previous winners going to be in it if the rumors are to be believed that Big Show's going in it. So they're really like pushing it quite hard. And I think with are you aware of the what's it called, the documentary they brought out about Andre?
Yeah.
I'm just getting all this out of the way because I think like my thing is they're gonna make a big thing about it this year. I think like apart from the first year, this will be like the biggest kind of ceremony and pomp and circumstance to the thing. And I think whoever wins it is going to get a little bit of a push, maybe to like the Intercontinental or US title. So I'm going to be logical about this, but I don't know, and I can't find all of the participants so far. There we go. I found them now. I found all the participants. Right. So the participants so far, I'll read them out quickly because you're going to need them as well. So we have Dash Wilder, Scott Dawson, Baron Corbin, or Baron Corn, as we used to call him on the show, Mojo Rawley, Ty Dillinger, Matt Hardy, Ziggler, Fandango, Tyler Breeze, Goldust, Heath Slater, Rhino, Zack Ryder, and Primo Colon.
Okay.
So just an absolute awash with mid-card talent there.
Yeah. So do you think there'll be surprises in the Big Show?
Yes. I think the Big Show's going to return. I think I might as well say I think Big Cass is going to return. I think my pick is Big Cass.
Okay.
Yeah, just really quickly, I think that again that they're really pushing this Andre documentary there. So they're really like pushing the importance of both battle royals. I think Big Cass is a big guy, and it kind of makes sense to have like Big Cass win it. I think they need to distance him. I know it's like he was nothing to do with it, but he kind of has that association with Enzo Amore and obviously all of that sour situation. So I think bringing him back as like a big baby face, him winning that kind of can quell that whole kind of drama. So yeah, I'm gonna go for Big Cass. And Mark, who have you got and why?
I've not really thought too much about this match, to be honest. I've got a little, we love our little fantasy bookings, so and I'll go straight into it. A little fantasy booking I have is, like you say, I think they want to make the last 2 years that they've had the Battle Royale, Andre Giant, whatever, it's kind of fallen flat after WrestleMania. There's been no real point to it. You've mentioned about obviously Big Show and Big Cass, which I think will return. I think you're right, actually, and Big Cass will probably get it because it's the way it's been used before is for younger talent and to push people and give them kind of a bit of status. But
apart from when the Big Show screwed Damien Sandow out of it at 31.
But like my little fantasy booking is for a little bit of Samoa Joe to come down and just destroy everyone. And I think like him winning it would give it massive like respect.
You just kind of answered my question there. Is Joe not bigger than the trophy?
I think he is, but I think like the trophy needs him more than he needs it. So he doesn't necessarily have to like, sing from the rooftops about it. I think it's just something he can use, that he destroyed 20 or 30 other people and he's, and then it can push him onto a title or whatever. But I don't know. That's just a bit of a fantasy book, and I think it'd be quite cool.
No, I like it because they tried, and I don't want to say it failed, but they tried to do something similar. You and Baron Corbin won it.
Yeah.
And they used to have him come out, and he wouldn't really address it. It'd just be like he'd kind of stand there by it when in his entrance, he'd stand by it.
Yeah.
And that was kind of it, and like that worked. So I think if they do that with Joe, well, like times 1,000, I think I agree with you. I think.
Yeah.
Damn, you've got a better bloody prediction than me.
But knowing the WWE, it'll probably turn out to be Rob Gronkowski or something come out of the crowd and win it or something.
Probably.
Yeah, I think the safe bet is Big Cass. I think you're right because he's cleared and that and whatnot.
But yeah, I also like your Joe prediction.
So then moving on to the Battle Royale for the women, who they're loving that their firsts at the moment and their history. Okay, while we're here, right, this is complete wrestling naivety, but why is it considered different to the Royal Rumble?
What, as in, like, why? What's the difference between a Battle Royal and the Royal Rumble? Or
yeah, they all start in the ring at the same time, obviously. I know that, but
I suppose
the process is exactly the same, isn't it?
I suppose there's more of that drama because with the Royal Rumble, I suppose you have more of an advantage if you come in later.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, I suppose it's probably better in a Battle Royal because you are literally beating 30, 40 people at once. Whereas in a Royal Rumble, you could technically throw one person out and win the whole thing.
So hang on then. Let's backtrack a little bit. So does that count out our surprise returns?
Well, no, because they all kind of come out together, but I think they kind of, if I remember rightly, last year, they kind of clubbed all of the mid-carders together, and they all kind of just went down to the ring, and then it was like Braun Strowman, Sami Zayn, and there was a couple of us did get entrances. So I think it's going to kind of be like all the mid-carders will be in the ring, and then like, and then everyone will lose their shit because the Big Show's back. Sorry, I did swear. We're not allowed to swear on streams. I can't remember.
Yeah, we can. It's fine.
Okay.
It's not monetized anymore, is it? We can say whatever we want. Anyway, back to the women. I think this is a smaller one at the moment, isn't it? There's not.
Do you want me? I've got the entrance in front of me. Do you want me to read them out?
Yeah, go for it.
It's really SmackDown heavy. Sorry, I just take a drink of water.
So I just had some orange juice.
So we have at the moment 13 participants confirmed for the former Fabulous Moolah Battle Royal. Now, the historic first ever women's Battle Royal, because we won't talk about the one that happened at WrestleMania 25 where Santina Morella won. But
exactly.
For this one, we have Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch, Liv Morgan, Naomi, Natalia, Ruby Riott, Sarah Logan, Bayley, Lana, Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville, Mickie James, and Carmella.
Excellent.
So those are.
Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
I'll let you go first.
Okay. I'll get straight to the point. I think there's obviously going to be shenanigans with Sasha and Bayley.
Totally.
Which could lead to one of them winning it, and then that obviously there's a feud there afterwards. However it goes down. I don't think Carmella will win it because obviously she's got the Money in the Bank. I think they'll keep it. It's two accolades to have at the same time, really, isn't it? I think they are going to go with. I'm trying to think. I've got two in my mind, and I'm trying to think what way around. I think they're going to go with Bayley screwing Sasha over, and then going her to win it, Bayley to win it.
I agree, but I don't think Bayley's winning.
Okay. What I'd like to happen is some little NXT people coming up and giving it to one of the iconic duo and let them just be fully arrogant about it for ages and ages and ages and just build them up on the main roster. You go.
Same thing. I dispute your Bayley Sasha thing. I don't think neither of those two winning. I think it's going to be Bailey's going to kind of get revenge for the Rumble and throw Sasha out, and then Sasha might come back in and throw Bailey out. Then you have their feud continuing. And I tell you what, I'm a little bit gutted that they haven't pulled the trigger with this and had this as a match on the card itself.
Yeah, I thought they were going to,
but I like, realistically, can you build it for another year to Mania, or do you think this is a SummerSlam match?
Yeah,
sorry. I think probably better SummerSlam because it's the final year of the Barclays Center, and obviously it'll kind of end that 4-year odyssey of obviously NXT Takeover Brooklyn 1, and then it all comes kind of comes full circle. So yeah, I've kind of talked myself out of my own argument there, but yeah, I think so. I don't think those. I kind of agree. I would go. Yeah, I think Peyton Royce and the other girl Billie Kay. Yeah, I kind of like that idea that those two win it, like, but they win it together.
Yeah.
So kind of like. They both, like, I don't know how that works. Like, they just kind of go, yeah, like, we've won, lol, because we're the best. But yeah, I like that. They're just being like really like over the top, like delirious heels that they've won the first ever women's battle royal.
Do you remember when? Do you remember when I think it was Michelle McCool? No, it was Layla and someone, wasn't it? They won the Divas title.
Yeah,
and they shared it between them. Yeah, so something like that.
Yeah, so yeah, I think I agree with that. I'd go for that. I'm going to go for that, but I do want to throw out one more little conspiracy theory.
Okay.
I kind of want to see Carmella win it.
Yeah. For what reason?
Just because I think it'd be absolutely mental if she won like the first ever women's Money in the Bank and the first women's Battle Royal, but then didn't cash in. Like, so she failed to cash in. So she had all this momentum.
Yeah.
And then you kind of like knock her down a peg or two. Well, again, that kind of damages the character, I think. So maybe they won't. But yeah, I'm gonna go for you. I'm gonna go for the Iconic Duo.
Okay, cool. I think they need more women in it, don't they? So.
Oh, definitely.
I think they'll definitely be. Or in, but yeah, depends what happens at Takeover.
Yeah.
Depends what happens at Takeover, don't it? But... Alrighty then, moving on up to the Cruiserweight Championship. Cedric Alexander and Mustafa Ali.
Who
are you going for?
Really quickly, really impressed with what they've done with the Cruiserweight title since Triple H took over, and they've kind of like reinvigorated 205 Live. Sadly, I don't watch it as much as I do. I kind of like that they've taken it off Raw because it feels a little bit special again.
Yeah.
But for me, like I don't want to go too much in depth this one. I think it's Cedric Alexander for me.
Yeah, I think for me as well. I think it's Cedric Alexander. I think he's perfect for it. Although I do really like Mustafa Ali when I saw him live again. I can't remember who it was against. Tony Nese, potentially. He was awesome live, and I was really impressed. So I wouldn't mind him having it, but I don't know if he's got a good character or personality or.
Yeah, I feel like Cedric is more marketable with the title.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's loads of like they've injected a lot of great talent into 205 Live, so it looks promising. But I think you can build a division around Cedric Alexander more than Mustafa Ali.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just think he looks more like a star at this moment in time.
I would love it if they somehow, because obviously there's rumours of the Mysterio being around. They shoehorned him in somehow after the match. If he came out and challenged one of them, or do you know what I mean? Just to.
Again, is he too big? Is he too big for 205 Live?
I think he is, but at the same time, he's also an older wrestler, and so he can elevate it a bit, I suppose.
Yeah, it's like you said. They kind of need him more than he needs 205 Live at this moment in point of his career. Like with Joe. Yeah, a little bit good. They didn't get the main roster, the main show on Mania as well. I think that was a little bit going, but I think they've got more time, as with the really great match Neville and Austin Aries had last year.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's fine. Yeah, sorry, we talked far too much about the Cruiserweight title and we needed to. But Cedric Alexander for me. Where
do you want to go next? Because obviously on Wikipedia the matches.
Should we start at the bottom? Should we go from 13 up? Looks like
DB and Shane McMahon versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
Do you want to start?
Yeah, because I think this is really straightforward. They're not going to have Daniel Bryan return and then have him lose straight away. So I think Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are going to lose. They're going to get fired. But then in the impending superstar shakeup, I think they get drafted to Raw. And I don't really have much more to say about that. I think it's going to be great to see Bryan. But yeah, I think that's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I think I'm basically exactly the same. I can't see Daniel Bryan losing. There may be something within the match that kind of essentially splits Owens and Sami up, and then obviously one of them can go into a program with Daniel Bryan. Maybe Kevin, I don't know, but yeah, they'll get fired. Obviously, won't they? I forgot about that. I think Daniel Bryan and Shane will win, and then Owens and Sami Zayn will go over to Raw at some point. Whether it's they turn up on Raw on Monday, kind of pleading for a job or whatever, I don't know. But pretty straightforward, isn't it?
Yeah, the only kind of curveball I want to throw out there, and it just makes no sense storyline wise, but it's WWE, anything can happen, is that Shane turns on Daniel Bryan, and that's the only way that like he loses, but it makes no sense for that to happen. So it's got to be Daniel Bryan, right?
Yeah, definitely. And that's going to be great. The crowd are going to go mental when he comes out. It's crazy stuff. So next up is it's all McMahon's, isn't it? Kurt Angle and Ronda Rousey versus Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. Now, just quickly, I've heard rumours that they're trying to push for this as the main event.
I have also heard those rumours.
Which I think is absolutely ludicrous, but I don't know.
What do you think? I don't know. Like, how, looking at that card, there are like easily, well, there's two matches definitely that should go on last. And you could possibly say that maybe the Daniel Bryan one, to send like the fan zone happy, could go on last. But
yeah,
now this kind of needs to go in the middle of the card somewhere, I think.
It's the same position as Cena in that last year, isn't it? Pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, kind of pick the fans up after maybe like a loss that people don't want to see. You know, rebuild it to that. But yeah, I think again, like, they're not going to bring in Ronda Rousey and Kurt Angle and have them lose. I really want, like, again, a little bit of fantasy booking is I really want to see them have, because like I've seen a lot of things as well. Just on a side note, of people saying that like Kurt Angle can't go anymore. But I saw him last year in Manchester, for name redacted pro wrestling, and like he looked for 10-15 minutes. He looked really good. I know time's passed since then, but yeah. Anyway, my point on to the point I was going to make was, I think that you've got to have it be that Ronda is chasing Stephanie throughout the whole match.
Yeah,
like, she just can't get her hands on her, and then there's some like shenanigans. Triple H falls back, and it's like, oh, Stephanie's in now, and then obviously Ronda gets the comeuppance. I don't know if have you seen the end of this week's Raw or this week's Raw yet?
Where Steph put her through a table.
Yeah, put through the table. So they've really elevated that. But yeah, I don't know if you have another theory on it, but for me, they're not bringing in Ronda Rousey to have her lose straight away, especially at Mania.
Definitely.
So, yeah, for that reason, Ronda and Kurt for me.
I think Ronda and Kurt will win it as well. I don't know how much wrestling there's going to be between Ronda Rousey and Steph. I think it is literally, like you say, probably the match is going to be carried by Kurt and Triple H, and then the kind of final moment will be Ronda doing something to Steph and putting her in an armbar or something and getting her to tap. I have the same feelings about this match as I did the Cena Miz one last year. Like, there was pretty much minimal wrestling involved, and it was more just a bit of a show really than anything. But it could be great. I've been really, really underwhelmed by Ronda Rousey since she came in. I just think she's not hitting the mark at all. Like, her mic work is horrendous.
Oh yeah, she needs to improve her mic skills. But I tell you what was really great was the night after the Rumble when she came out. This is where I kind of got a little bit of sprinkling of rowdy fever. They did that whole like really like hokey thing of like, oh, I'm so happy to be here, like I want to prove myself, and then you kind of had that Kurt Angle being the old little stir in the pot, and he was like, oh, like it's been like so, and she didn't have to say anything, but that was where like the aura and the mystique came from. So I think she's kind of got a touch of the Brock Lesnar's about her, where like you don't have to have a talk and thing, and maybe we'll talk about this a little bit later on. But maybe if you pair her with a certain somebody further on down the line, then you kind of got that star power. Yeah, you don't have to have it talking, because Brock doesn't talk, and look at the star power he holds.
Yeah, definitely. Just it'll be interesting to see her wrestle more than anything, I think. But I think the wrestling will be limited. And they'll build her up over time. But yeah, cool. Moving on. So next is the Triple Threat SmackDown Tag Team Championship with the Usos, the New Day, and the Bludgeon Brothers. Do you want to go, or do you want me to go?
You go.
Okay. I don't really care much for this match at all. But I do really like the Usos, and I'd like them to retain again. I just like the fact that they keep winning. And that's about it for me. The biggest disappointment for me is the Bludgeon Brothers are okay. But I was really liking Harper this time last year, I think just for WrestleMania, when he was having a little singles run. And I think he's just got lost in the pack again. Not that bothered about New Day. They're always going to be around. For me, it's the Usos. I want them to retain and carry on as they are. That's it, really.
I pretty much agree. I think this whole story of them building, like, it's been like we've been in the company nearly 10 years. We've never had a WrestleMania match.
Yeah.
Like I just like the Usos. Like you said, the New Day are going to be fine without it. And I think the only other doubt in my mind is that they've really built the Bludgeon. I know
it's hard, isn't it? It's hard.
They've really built Harper and Rowan up. So to have them lose at Mania, it's like, again, it's got, you kind of have to have the New Day take the pin if you want to protect Harper and Rowan. My only other, again, is that looking at this card, there isn't one there yet. I think this is probably the best one you can do it in, considering especially Harper's track record and Kofi Kingston. I'd like to see what the Usos do, is maybe you turn this, and this is their kind of big fun ladder match for the night.
Yeah.
Because they like a ladder match at Mania. There isn't one yet, and I think
the Usos would pull it off as well.
Yeah. Have the Usos ever been in a ladder match?
Don't know.
Not that I can think. So I think it's so random, but they've kind of like built this feud up as well. Tell like a brutal feud, obviously the stuff that happened at Fastlane. So having the ladders kind of, you can throw it in there and people will be like, all right, okay, we get it. I think that's the logical step for that.
Yeah.
And nobody has to be pinned then. So you keep everybody kind of protected. And it's going to take like a real beat down to beat the Bludgeon Brothers. And yeah, I think sorry, I've waffled far too much, but if they do the ladder match, then I think this has got real shades of DIY versus the Revival versus the Authors of Pain from NXT. I wanna say Brooklyn 2-3, where they had that really great match, and they all work together to take out the Authors of Pain at the beginning. I think,
wasn't that WrestleMania last year?
Oh, it might have been. Yeah,
I think it might have been
WrestleMania Orlando, Takeover Orlando.
Yeah, potentially. Or at least or Royal Rumble, but yeah.
So yeah, I think it could steal the show. I think if they do it as a ladder match, because Harper's great from remember Mania 31.
Yeah.
Kofi and Big E, I'd love to see those two flying around. So yeah, I think that could be the sleeper hit of the night if they turn it into a ladder match.
Yeah, definitely. Knowing how luck, it'll get pushed to the pre-show, but
probably, yeah. Now screw the Usos over again.
Cesaro and Sheamus versus Braun and whoever he decides to drag along with him. Go for it.
Obviously, you don't care about this one either. You'll pass it over to me.
I have my thoughts on it, but
I've got my thoughts as well. Right. Okay. This is what I was going to hold out for earlier on for the armbar. But I'm gonna cash it in now. I'm gonna cash in my mental theory what's gonna happen now. Okay. And that is that Braun is gonna try and go out on his own.
Yeah.
And like Angle's gonna come out and be like, look, like we told you, like you can't wrestle you need a tag team partner, and he's going to be like, well, I haven't got anybody, and then they're going to be like, oh, don't worry, we found you someone, and it's going to be the Bar. It's going to be time to face the facts, and out comes Kurt Hawkins. Like, and it's going to be like Braun, and it's going to be like a really like over the top comedic thing where like Braun just destroys the Bar, and he ends up just like destroying Hawkins in the process. But just somehow like Hawkins is the one that gets the pin and they win, and it's kind of like a really nice story of like Hawkins like he like breaks his streak. He's now tag team champions with Braun Strowman, and I think the two of those two together can be really funny going forward. So well, again, my other thing was like is that you have Kurt Hawkins win the armbar, but I don't know what you do with him after that. But with like this Braun thing, it can be like a really fun 2 or 3 month program, and then he can just go back to the mid card. You haven't got like anything really to do with him after that. But yeah, part of me really wants that to happen. It's just like Braun just destroys him, and then somehow it's Hawkins that picks up the win. I know there's loads of rumors about this, but I don't know. I really just hope it's not a cop out, and they don't just do it like Braun on his own.
Yeah,
I'll be happy with anybody, is what I'm saying. And I don't know. I don't know who I want to win. I'd like to see Braun, but I think they'll keep it on Sheamus and Cesaro after they've already basically destroyed the tag team division. I think they need to have a tag team actually be the tag team champions.
Yeah.
So I'll throw it over to you.
Like you said, because I threw it over to you quickly, I'm not that bothered. I am bothered a bit. I think I'm just disappointed in Braun Strowman, really. Like, they were building him up to be such a monster, and then he done like this comedy skit on Monday with his brother Brains and stuff.
Mate, I love that. I thought it was so great. Like, it's my brother Brain.
It was good, but I just hate the way WWE just suddenly switch a character, like when they're building it up to something else. But that's my own opinion. I'm going to go slightly different, and I think they're going to bring out the Big Show. I think he won't be in the Battle Royale, and I think that he'll be his partner. There was rumours that it would be Rey Mysterio, but that's died down now. So I think
that was the guy from Sports Illustrated who literally, like, anytime he can try and break a story, he just throws Rey Mysterio.
I think I'd like to see Cesaro and Sheamus win and continue as champions. I really enjoyed seeing them when we went to Raw back in November.
They were.
But it's a weird one. I'm intrigued to see who Braun's partner is, but at the same time, I'm not, like you said, it can be anyone. It doesn't really bother me, like, either way. It would be quite nice for him to hold the tag team titles on his own and just destroy everyone, but then how do you change it from that point? Yeah,
exactly. Before we move on, I want to say hello to Mr. Canadane, Mr. Canade. We've got a viewer. What's up? Hello in the chat now.
Cool.
So I
have to be on our best behaviour now.
I know. Yeah, we can't do the swears.
The swears.
The swears.
Cool.
But yeah, so Mr. Canadane, Mr. Canade, I don't know how you pronounce that, but the guy in the chat, the only other guy that's watching this video, if you have any predictions, throw them out and we'll discuss. We were just talking about the bar.
The bar.
We don't just set the bar. Yeah, we had a really great. I just remembered when you talked about there was a really great like backstage, like kind of a dark segment when we went and they started singing "You'll Never Walk Alone" and then Rollins and Ambrose came out and
just trolling the crowd, weren't they?
Yeah, they were great. I think did they lose the titles last year, or was it the club that had them when they lost it to the Hardys?
I think they've just. I'm trying to think. I don't think it's the club. Yeah, it might have been Cesaro and Sheamus.
And that's what they are.
Because they kept hot potatoing it around for quite a while, didn't they?
Yeah.
Losing it and whatnot. But yeah, I think it'd be nice to see Cesaro and Sheamus carry on. I think they're a good tag team, and I think they deserve it more than anything. Moving on to Charlotte Flair and Asuka. Do you want to go?
Yeah, Mr. Canadane. I still can't pronounce it.
Say Mr. It's Mr.
Mr. Guy in the chat says Braun and the Mystery Dude will win at the titles at Mania.
Who do you think the mystery dude is?
I was just going to ask, while we're talking about Charlotte and Asuka, who do you think the mystery partner is going to be? I don't know when you joined the chat, so just to throw out, mine was the incomparable Kurt Hawkins, and Mark's was the Big Show. They were our predictions, to let us know yours. And for Charlotte versus Asuka, legitimately, genuinely think there's so many, but I think this will be match of the night for me.
Yeah,
I
agreed.
think they could go either way, and I'd be happy either way. Part of me wants Charlotte to win, but then part of me wants Asuka to win because Charlotte's not going to be damaged by the loss.
Yeah,
and the part of me that wants Charlotte to win is so that if Asuka wins, they don't just feed it to Ronda Rousey like SummerSlam, and I don't want Rousey to be the one to beat the streak. So if it was going to be anybody, I think Charlotte's the one that deserves it, or Ember Moon further down the line. But for me, I'm going to go Asuka. I think the streak lives.
Cool. Yeah, I love Charlotte Flair and I love Asuka as well. Asuka's amazing. I think I would like Asuka to win, and I would like it to be the start of, if she stays in the company for quite a while, a new streak at WrestleMania with taking over from The Undertaker. Because I think she can do that. She's had her streak in NXT. I don't mind if she loses the title, SummerSlam, or whatever, loses that streak, but then she can carry on the WrestleMania streak for many years to come, which I think would be awesome. But yeah, like you, I think it'll be match of the night. As long as it's given time, that's the thing. I think they will. But yeah, I'm just really looking forward to it, and have a little crush on Asuka. So what can I say?
Nobody is ready for Asuka.
Next up, sorry, Karen.
Sorry, is that I would love if they like just went on like a mental streak with Asuka, and she held it for like 10 years. Like she held the title. It's not going to happen, but you know, like back in the day when like San Martino would like held the title for like 8 years or something.
Yeah.
I think they could legitimately do it with somebody like Asuka. Yeah, if she's got the longevity, she's got the character, and I think why not? And before we move on, I'm just going to jump back to the chat because Canadane is back, and he says he agrees with me that it's going to be Kurt Hawkins because it's just going to be absolute banter.
Yeah,
and then he also thinks that Asuka's going to win by DQ, and then Carmella is going to cash in her Money in the Bank briefcase on Charlotte. They are teasing that a lot, by the way.
I would actually like Asuka to win, Carmella to cash in after the match, and then Asuka just give her an absolute beatdown. Yeah. One of my favorite things from the past year of wrestling was Royal Rumble, when Asuka had won. She was in that jubilant kind of winning the Royal Rumble. Then obviously Ronda comes out, extends her hand to Asuka, and she just swats it away. That was just incredible.
Yes. I'll tell you what, screw it. I'm going full mental before you jump on. Okay. Carmel's going to cash in, and Ellsworth is going to return, and he's going to win it for her. He's going to be the man that costs Asuka.
Of course, it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't bloody surprise me. Next up is my little favourite, Miss Bliss versus Nia Jax, who I think you quite like, don't you?
Because she's not like most girls.
Exactly. This is our little head-to-head, I think. There's no way. I'm going to put it out there now. There is no way I'm choosing Nia Jax in this scenario. Alexa Bliss to win all the way.
I'm going for Nia because...
Of course you are.
Because she got screwed at last year's Mania.
I can't remember what happened.
I felt so bad for her, bless her. Everybody else, like, yes, Mr. Canadane's with me. He says that Nia Jax is going to F up Alexa Bliss. She's going to F her in the A and jail over her B's. But yeah, I felt really bad for Asuka last year. I remember because this is one of my things that like I watched it with a couple of friends and they pointed it out, and I didn't really think about it until like the match went on. And Bayley got this massive introduction. Sasha Banks got this massive introduction. Charlotte had all the pyro and this huge intro. And Nia Jax just walked down the ramp and got eliminated from it like straight away. So, and I think I'll tell you what I like about this is that this is what's great about wrestling for me is this story. Is that you've got two really great defined characters in Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax, and they've got a really great story going into it. And I think that the match is not going to be great, but I still think that story that they're going to tell is going to be brilliant. And obviously, I want it to end with Nia Jax like destroying Mickie James and then destroying Alexa Bliss. So yeah, I'm going for, as we already said about 10 minutes ago, I'm going for Nia Jax, and it's pretty obvious who you're going for.
Yeah, I want Alexa Bliss to win. I think you're possibly right there. I think Nia Jax will get her moment. I don't mind that too much. I'm just a big fan of Alexa. I love, again, another one of my favourite wrestling moments over the last year was Elimination Chamber when she won, and then she was doing a speech, and it seemed like she was going to have a face turn, and then she just killed it straight away, and I was like, yes, that's my Alexa.
that's the Alexa I love.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm going to go for Alexa, and you can go for Nia, and we can have a little head-to-head on that, and it'll be a good little back and forth on the night.
She's not like most girls.
They're turning it. I don't know. Is she face or heel? They were building her as this woman monster, weren't they? But
they kind of seem to. They've humanized her, which I like.
Yeah, that's a good word. Good word. Right. Next up, we have the immortal Randy Orton, Bobby Roode, Jinder Mahal, and Rusev Day. Every day is Rusev Day. Do you want me to go first, or?
Yeah, because I think I've got a little inkling as to who you're going to pick. So
well, you've seen my Facebook over the last few weeks. So
exactly. That's what I mean.
I'm going for Rusev all the way. Just imagine the Rusev Day chants in the Superdome on Sunday. It'll be incredible.
It's going to be like his intro. I watched SmackDown where he faced Jinder, and like it's still ridiculous how like big of a pop he gets when he comes out. Like.
Yeah,
and when Aiden English does that thing and he goes, and he pauses and everyone goes, it's Rusev Day. Like it's ridiculous how over he is. And yeah.
I would have almost ultimately, like looking at this match now, is just swipe Randy Orton off that match, because I think it would be a great match with Bobby Roode, Jinder Mahal, and Rusev, because you've got how Vince McMahon likes it and whatnot. You've got essentially the two foreigners against Bobby Roode, who's like the all-American kind of guy,
even though he's Canadian.
Exactly. And I just think that would work well. But yeah, I think we're going to have Randy Orton in there as well. Wouldn't bloody surprise me if he retained, to be honest.
I know, I've got a horrible feeling, but I am going to disagree with you.
Okay.
And I am going to say that the modern day Maharaja is going to be the man to pick up the victory and is going to be the new US champion.
Yeah.
I think just purely for the fact that he lost the title so close to the Survivor Series where they were building him up to be destroyed by Brock Lesnar. I think kind of they're going to like give him like one moment. They've invested in him so much. I think that maybe they might just give him like this little win at Mania, and then and I actually think as well, like holding that title could be really good for him.
Yeah, I think like
rejuvenate the character.
We both had sentiments, didn't we, when he held the WWE title? Was it? Yeah, WWE title. We both had the same kind of sentiments that actually we quite enjoyed it, and he held it well, if that makes sense. And
yeah, it was only towards the end where it kind of got like, okay, the joke's past now.
Yeah.
But again, like with like the US title, you give him, he kind of has a little bit more freedom. There's not all this pressure on him to perform well every week. And I think if they can get a lot of character stuff out of him and really develop that character and let him hold this title for kind of as long as he did the main title, I think it could really work. I think. Yeah, and he kind of got a bad rap, didn't he, with the big title? So I think give him the US title, let him kind of rebuild his character, because realistically, Orton doesn't need it.
No.
Realistically,
in the first place.
Exactly. The only reason I don't want Rusev to win is because I want him to go on to bigger, better things.
Yeah.
So like him having the title does kind of feel like they are like holding him down. So yeah, it kind of like for me, like I don't think Rude's going to win it back straight away. So, yeah, for me, I'm going to go for Jinder.
Yeah.
Don't hinder the Jinder.
Don't hinder the Jinder. Mr. Candane, do you want to say who you think is going to win it?
He's gone for Rusev Day.
Oh, okay, cool. Rusev Day.
It's Rusev Day.
Next up, The Miz versus Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor.
I'll let you go first. I'll let you go first on this one because I don't actually know at this moment in time.
I love The Miz. I just think he's great. If they take the title off him, he's going to get it back at some point, and it's just going to be another Intercontinental title notch on his belt, which is just ridiculous. Have heard rumors that Seth Rollins is going to pick it up because I think they leaked something with the Middle East show, was it? Or
it was one of those live event things. I did see it. Yeah, that they were going to.
But then that could have just been a typo more than anything. I don't think Miz is going to retain. I think he's going to have some time off with his new Bubba that was born, I think, only a few days ago. So I'm going to go for. I think Finn Balor needs it more than Seth Rollins, so I'm going to go for Finn Balor. There you go. I don't have much more to say about the match. It's quite. I don't know really. Like I love the Miz, and when he's on it, he's amazing. Like on the mic and stuff and that. But I've just felt this has been a bit bland, and so I'm Finn.
I agree, but I'm going to swap it around. Yeah, I think the Miz is going to lose because I think they're going to give him some time off for his new baby, which is totally understandable. And again, he's going to get it back at some point. I think is he like two reigns off the record?
Yeah, I don't know without looking, but he's got
really,
a sizable amount.
Yeah, he's really close to Jericho's record. I think Jericho's is 9. I think the Miz is 6 or 7.
Yeah.
So like him losing here doesn't damage him. But I think, who did you go for? You went for Balor, didn't you?
Yeah, Finn.
Yeah. I don't know actually now. I've got 2 scenarios. It's either Balor wins, and then Rollins goes on to bigger things, which is probably going to spoil my predictions for another match in a minute. But I think, but then on the same time, I'd like Rollins to win it because he's never held it, and I think Balor maybe goes back after this to like the Balor Club, and they might debut somebody else to join that faction, and then you've kind of got a mini, like you've got a new faction because obviously if the Miztourage kind of disbands, if the Miz leaves. So I'm going to go for Rollins just because you said Balor, just to be different.
Cool. Next up, AJ Styles versus Nakamura. The one that everyone's been waiting for.
The dream match. Sorry, Mr. Canada agrees with me. He says Rollins as well.
God, you two are ganging up on me today.
Yeah, it's true. He'll be a Grand Slam winner as well, and you know how much they love forcing those down our throats the past year. So
fair point.
So yeah.
Styles Shinsuke.
Sorry, yes, the dream match.
Dream match.
You haven't watched SmackDown like vigorously, have you?
I've not watched it this week, no. But just quickly, obviously, we're doing this in a bit of a weird order because of the way we found them on Wikipedia. Do you think this will be the final match of the night?
You put me in a difficult position there.
I think it will be.
It should, because whoever wins, it's going to send the fans unhappy.
Yeah, exactly.
But I will talk about something that's going to happen in a little bit, in a moment.
Okay.
But like my only kind of thing with this is that they've had such a big opportunity to build this, and they have done it okay. But compared to the other big title feud, this has kind of seemed very lackluster. It's been, it's fine. But it has been kind of very respectful, which I get is fine. But I would have liked them just to like up the ante a little bit. It's been more like like sit down interviews.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? Like it's not been like as intense as I thought it was going to be, considering it's the match that technically has had the biggest build.
I think maybe that is a lot down to that. Obviously, New Japan is quite a big competitor now to WWE, and I wonder if they don't want to acknowledge that as much, whereas they could have, if all was fair in kind of wrestling land, is they could have built up this amazing, the history of them both and stuff and whatnot, and gone that route. But yeah, like you say, it's just been a bit beige, really, hasn't it? It's not. Yeah. It's an exciting match because it's an exciting match, but it's not an exciting match because it's been built up.
It's been built. That's like I think they mentioned it on. I don't know if you've seen it, but I think they Styles alluded to their Wrestle Kingdom match. He kind of said like this isn't the Tokyo Dome anymore. This is WWE.
Yeah.
It's just been like the past couple of weeks they've upped the ante a little bit with the mind game sort of stuff. That's been great, but like you've had technically 3 months now to build this feud.
Yeah.
And it does feel like they kind of rushed it to get everything in the last couple of weeks.
Do you know what I would really like? And this is, I'm just going to spring this on you because it's a bit off kilter, but obviously because I've been filming with Southside Wrestling in the UK, and there was a match between one of my absolute favourite independent wrestlers, David Starr. I don't know if you know him. If you do, check him out.
Is he the guy? He's your favourite wrestler's favourite wrestler?
Yeah. He's really good at Twitter and all stuff like that. Yeah. Basically, he had a match with Bob Holly, and kind of the story. I'll get through it quickly. The story of the match was basically the night before, David Starr had been in another match on another promotion, and he had been chopped to hell. Like his chest was red, like scabs and bleeding and stuff. And they built up that basically Bob Holly wasn't going to chop him, and he wasn't going to chop Bob Holly, and that. And they played on this for about 5 minutes, and then he chops Bob Holly, and the reaction of Bob Holly was like brilliant because it was like, obviously it was, predetermined and whatnot, but the way Bob Holly reacted and the way the kind of match went from that point, you thought, hang on a second, has this got a bit real? Do you know what I mean? Like it just went overboard. And the reason I'm saying that is I think it'd be nice with Styles and Nakamura if they had this kind of thing where there's all mutual respect, and then one of them done something and it kind of tipped it over, if that makes sense, and it just turned into a bit of a.
I like that. I like that. Yeah. Kind of like maybe like one of the kicks from Nakamura is just that little bit too stiff, and then it elevates. And that, I like that. I think that's a very good point, a very, very good point, because that's kind of been like what they play. Again, I don't know how much of SmackDown you've seen, so I don't want to like feel like I'm telling you to suck eggs here, but they've kind of been like building this like whole mind game stuff up, and they've kind of had Nakamura being the heel.
Okay.
Like. Heelish, not like the actual full on like I'm gonna murder your kids and stuff, but like they were doing this really cool mind games thing. Like last week they did it where like he cocked for the Kinshasa and then like ran up to AJ Styles, stopped and was like, oh, like knee to face.
Yeah.
So I think if they kind of like build on that psychology and as you say, like it's like, oh, like keep it almost timid for the first kind of.
Yeah.
If they get the time, like 4 or 5 minutes or so, and then it really starts to intensify.
I think with Nakamura's style as well, you could do it as, like you say, keep it quite timid.
Yeah.
Technical wrestling, and then get it a bit brutal towards the end with some strong style stuff and
I suppose like kind of way I can best sum this up is that it's gonna be a great match. Yeah. It is going to be like a really good match, but it's kind of feel like they just haven't built it up yet. It's been like, oh, it's the dream match, but you're not telling us why it's the dream match. Do you know what I mean? We get it. We know it's the dream match, but sell it to me as like it's the dream match is the best way I can sum it up.
I suppose it's quite ironic. Just quickly, it's quite ironic with the WWE that normally they kind of spoon feed us everything that they want us to know. Yeah. Whereas this time around, they've done the complete opposite and expect that everyone knows the history or whatever. So going on to
we didn't actually give up.
Just quickly then, I'm going to go. If Asuka's winning the women's, I'm going to go Styles retaining. Ooh. Don't ask me why. That was my logic in my head.
Right. If you're doing that, then I'll
for another reason, which is coming in 2 seconds' time.
Okay. Well, for that reason, I'll go for Nakamura. Just to be different. Whoever wins, it's not going to be like a devastating result for either man. I don't think. And the fans are going to enjoy the match, and they're gonna really lap it up. And
it's not even about the championship.
No, it's like the spectacle of seeing Shinsuke Nakamura and AJ Styles in WWE. And before we move on, I just want to say the thing I want the most out of this match is I want Shinsuke Nakamura to have a full-on orchestra play his intro, and play his theme music as he walks to the ring. And if that happens, I will not give two shiny shouts about the match. I will probably be dead on the floor somewhere.
Yeah, I presume they get Kid Rock to do his entrance or something.
Oh, I'll tell you what we haven't spoke about, sorry, which is before. I think we should do it before. We should have done it earlier on, but before we actually talk about the main event, well, what we think is going to be the main event, is the possibility of John Cena versus The Undertaker.
Oh, I was leaving that as a little surprise. You ruined it now.
Oh,
I was going to go into the last match of being Roman Reigns and then do a switch and talk about.
Sorry, I just completely forgot because it wasn't on the Wikipedia thing. Well, we'll do it last. We'll do it last week. That never happened. That last 20 seconds never happened.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so go.
So Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns. What do you think?
Oh man, it's actually been really good. It's been so much better than their WrestleMania 31 build, where they literally the go home show they finished with them tussling over the championship. Have you seen the end of Raw, by the way?
Trying to think. I haven't. No, I'm going to watch it in 5 minutes' time. But
mate,
I know Brock destroyed Roman, didn't he?
Well, no, they kind of did the kind of thing where Roman got in some offense this time.
Okay.
Yeah, Roman came back. He like Superman punched Lesnar like 5 or 6 times.
Yeah.
And then Lesnar popped up and just popped him with an F5. Sorry, I just spoiled it for you now, but
no, it's cool. I'll watch it.
And then but they did this thing where like Roman held up the title and he actually got cheered.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it was really like weird because you could almost see it in like Roman's eyes as well. He's like, "Oh my god, like Vince, we've done it! Like they're actually cheering me."
The sudden realization.
Sorry, yeah, but before we do, Mr. Canada says, sorry, Mr. Canada, I'll just ignore your comments about the potential Undertaker Cena thing because we're going to talk about it in a sec.
Never happened.
We spoil it for ourselves. We'll rape it from history, just like Hulk Hogan. But he said Roman versus Lesnar will be a good match. I thought 31 was great, as did I. I thought they did a really great job with that. And he says this one will be better. He's picking Roman. And yeah, like that 31 match was great. And I think that on the flip side of Nakamura Styles, where everybody was kind of expecting Lesnar Reigns feud to be like kind of, we know what's going to happen. It's going to be boring. I think they've actually built up a really good story. And they built up Roman's character really, really well. In that, like, as I say, he's getting cheered now, and people kind of want Lesnar to win. Not Lesnar to win. They kind of want Reigns to win. And they're slowly starting to turn the tide. And it's going to be really interesting to see what happens because, as I think we're both kind of aware, it does seem very predictable what's going to happen, especially with the announcement that Dana White made a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
But anything can happen in the WWE. It's going to be more WrestleMania than ever.
Yeah. For me, I think I actually don't mind Roman Reigns that much.
Even do I. Yeah, let's just get. I think he is so criminally underrated.
Yeah, I just think he's been in that unenviable position of basically what Cena has been like. Cena circa 2006, 2008, when they were just pushing him and he was winning everything. Yeah. And people were just getting fed up with it. He's in that position now. But he has done some things, namely, again, this is probably my third moment of the last year, and it came on the Raw after WrestleMania. I remember me and you talking about it last year.
We waxed lyrical about it.
Yeah, just where he came into the ring and just got the most amount of boos and stuff I've ever heard. And he just took it all, and then he just trolled them all and basically said, "This is my yard now," and walked out. I just thought that really made me like think, oh yeah, I quite like Roman, but yeah. But yeah, I think it's the build-up's been okay. I think Roman will win. I think he's going to have his moment. But there's kind of like some little sadistic bits in my mind that I'd quite like to happen. Been listening to a lot of podcasts and other YouTube videos recently about Brock Lesnar as a human being, essentially, and sounds like he's not a very nice guy, to be honest. Yeah. And Brock, as Paul Heyman put it, Brock does what Brock wants. And in a sadistic kind of way, I kind of like the fact that obviously Roman is McMahon's guy, and he wants him to win, obviously, and have his crowning moment. But I'd love just some sadistic nature of Brock. He knows he's leaving the company and does something fucking stupid. And sorry, And just I don't know what it is, but it'd just be funny. But ultimately, I think Roman's winning. How that'll go down with the crowd, I don't know. I think the way to put it over with the crowd is almost essentially having what Bret Hart and Steve Austin did all those years ago, and just have it where the crowd cared so much about Steve Austin by the end of that match that he turned face, essentially, didn't he, from a heel? And Brock can leave as a heel. It doesn't bother him anyway. He's pretty much a heel anyway.
So what you're saying is is that you want Roman Reigns to be beaten, you want him to be victimized, you want him to be conquered by Brock Lesnar.
Dude, I want blood. I want blood.
I want Roman Reigns' kid on the front row crying her eyes out because Brock Lesnar has murdered her daddy, but then he still somehow wins. But it's as I say, it's been really interesting to see the progression of this Roman Reigns character since kind of the Rumble before then. Because again, sorry to spoil this for you, but at the end of this week's Raw as well, Heyman came out and started spewing this thing about Lesnar does what Lesnar does. He doesn't care about anybody. He doesn't care about anybody. Anyone in the back, they couldn't hold his jockstrap. And they did this thing where a few superstars came out to try and stop Roman. And then he kind of goes, "Oh, you're gonna stand in my way, and you're gonna protect this part-timer." And it's kind of they all parted. I don't know if you've seen it, but they all parted and let him through. And from that moment on, they kind of had the crowd hooked. And I think it was such a small thing, but it really, really worked. Because it was kind of oh right, okay, so it blurred the lines of we knew this was coming, but it's oh well, you don't know how the superstars really feel about Lesnar, not outside of WWE, how do they feel about him? And it was kind of resonated with the fans. I think that's what got him cheered. To go to your point, and what Mr. Carradine said is that they did have a really good WrestleMania 31 main event. I thought it was criminally underrated, and I think if they do something similar, they combine that with Lesnar Styles, where Lesnar just goes out and destroys Reigns. And then, you start to have that little bit of a comeback. I weirdly can see Roman Reigns getting cheered at the end of Mania as he lifts the Universal title. And I actually genuinely got goosebumps a little bit then, because it's so interesting to see. It would be so great, because as we said, it's kind of people ironically boo Reigns now. It's it's Reigns. But if they can get the fans behind him, it's gonna it's gonna be stratospheric, and they're showing real. I don't know where I'm going with this, but they're showing real great signs of promise with Reigns, and
it's where he goes after. If he wins the title on Sunday, it's where he goes after that, isn't it?
Yeah. The rumors, Joe. I don't know if you've seen that.
No.
Mr. Carradine, sorry, just jumped in
that's a good one.
With a theory that I was going to throw out. I promise I was going to throw out. That you're saying that Heyman will turn on Brock, because obviously Brock's supposed to be leaving for UFC, and it'll cost him, which they did at Survivor Series 2002 with Brock and the Big Show, I think.
Yeah. Picture this as an ending to WrestleMania 34.
Lay it on me.
Heyman costs Brock the title. Roman, whatever he wants to do, wins, stands in the ring, fireworks, whatever going off. Heyman takes the mic and says, "I want to introduce to you my client, Roman Reigns, the new Universal Champion," and that kind of ending WrestleMania 34, and him essentially managing Roman.
That
as an option
would be very cool. That would be very. But I'm going to see that and I'm going to raise it. Yeah.
Okay.
So exactly the same thing, but they do it at the start of the match.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
So, does the same thing. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce you to the reigning defending, and he doesn't say Brock Lesnar. He goes Roman Reigns and clocks Brock with the mic.
Yeah.
And then the match starts, and it starts from there. And then you've kind of got that subplot of Brock trying to get his hands on Heyman, Brock trying to get his hands on Roman, and Roman protecting Heyman at every corner. Again, I don't know how that pans out, but Yeah, it would be.
We love our fantasy booking, don't we?
We do love our fantasy. Miss Caddy, I hope you realise we've got one more match left, but we're going to be here for another 6 hours talking about our fantasy booking scenarios. But yeah, Carnadane's, I think he agrees with us. He threw out there. He said it would be a huge moment, and I agree with you. Whether it happens at the beginning of the match, at the end, whether it happens in the middle, I think if Heyman was to stay and turn and stay with Roman, then it would be magic.
I quite like, this is completely diverging off course, but I quite like Heyman having a little stable of people. So like Ronda, Roman, someone else, and just basically dominating the WWE for a little bit for the next year and whatever that leads to. But that was just completely off the top of my head. So is that cool? Sorry, Karen.
No, just to add to that, it'd be really cool if you did that. Sorry, just Mr. Carday, thank you for saying that he's enjoying the stream. 6 hours of us talking about wrestling. Yeah, I think that'd be really cool if he had like a little faction of people, and to expand that, it's kind of across brands.
Yeah.
Because what would be really cool is that you could have Heyman kind of running these factions and build that to Survivor Series. Then you obviously have Team Heyman versus Team Heyman for SmackDown and Raw.
Yeah.
Again, it does mean he'd have to have 10 people working for him, which may not work.
You know, the ultimate thing would be one of the McMahons would get involved, Shane or Steph, and Survivor Series would then be Survivor Series would then be a McMahon team versus a Heyman team, but
which again I'm fine with. I think.
No, that'll be right.
As long as you have the Heyman team win, I think you're totally fine.
Sorry, Karen.
Yeah, I just completely forgot what we were talking about. I
was just gonna. Are you going for Roman as well then?
Yeah. I want it to be, and I will be totally fine if it is. But there's a part of me that kind of wants it to be Brock as well, just to kind of really throw everybody off the scent of like, oh, Brock's leaving for UFC, like Brock, like, because it's kind of been reported about for 2 years like he's going to leave after Mania. So to really swerve the fans would be great. But I think,
and do you know what I think?
It is Rome's time.
I think that would work as well. I think if Brock wins and stays on as a part-time champion, you've got two things there. You've got Brock shocking the world again in New Orleans, because no one expects. I'm pretty sure all the like kind of marks don't expect Brock to win. And then secondly, it's potentially going to build up Roman even more. Like you've just said, that people were starting to get on his side because of whatever's gone on. If we know the WWE universe and fans don't particularly like a part-time champion.
No. And
by continuing that and having Brock kind of chasing it, having Roman chasing it more, then it's
for another year,
potentially going to build up his character more with the fans anyway, which is what the WWE want. But again, that's complete fantasy booking and kind of diverging off the subject.
Yeah, but again, to add to your fantasy booking is same thing. Like totally, like you get to that point where Roman's going to win. Like you said, people are starting to wise up to this kind of part-time champion. So to completely reverse what we've been talking about for the past 20 minutes or so is have Heyman cost Roman, maybe he whips, I don't know, hits him with a chair or something, but then it's essentially like you start to build that thing of, oh, well, Brock's so part-time that he can't win on his own, and you've totally screwed Roman out of a championship, and then it's like, oh, well, people will then start to feel sorry for Roman because it's like 3 years on the run now where he can't beat Lesnar, and then you've got that story of, can Roman beat Lesnar? It's just whether people want it for another year of building up Roman, which I think in the long run will work. But I think it's his time is now for the Roman coronation. I think.
Do you know what I hate though is ultimately whenever we chat and get together, we put all these ideas in each other's heads about how amazing things could go, and then we get ultimately disappointed
because nothing happens.
Exactly, yeah. So is that the end of the show, or is there a little elephant in the room that we want to talk about? Or
I don't know.
Should we talk about it, Mr. Kande?
Well, he already knows because he's going to go watching the stream long enough.
Yeah.
Shall we address it?
Yeah. Do you think it's going to happen, first off? Wouldn't it be the ultimate troll if nothing happened? Just nothing happened. And Cena was in the crowd as a fan.
It would be so.
He's basically carried a non-existent storyline for the last 5 weeks.
Well, yeah.
And he's done it well.
He's doing it very well. I saw someone on Instagram with somebody like photoshopped like Cena in the crowd. Yeah, they made me laugh. Can
I just say quickly before we get into it? Again, one of my favourite moments, and probably one of my favourite ever John Cena moments is, and I don't think people have spoken about this enough, is I think it was the first promo he done where he said, "I'm going to challenge The Undertaker," and then straight away he said, "But it's never going to happen," because he done a whole bit before that about how people get used to disappointment or how you come back from disappointment, and I just thought that was worked so well, and it's just I don't feel it's been talked about enough really, but there's been a few within his promos, although they've been good, there's been a few kind of inconsistencies with it. Like he's saying one week he's saying it's never going to happen, Undertaker, and then he comes back next week, it's like I'm going to challenge The Undertaker, and then there's another thing about like I'm going to be a fan but I want to match, you know what I mean? It's all a bit
it's like I want the match but I'm fine if it doesn't happen. It's like, well, obviously you're not, because you're pushing for the match so hard. I don't know if you saw like Edge got a little bit of flack. He talked about Cena's promo, you know, that it wasn't the first one, it was the second one, where he like officially challenged The Undertaker and he went out into the crowd and stuff, and then it turned it semi-serious and was like and I think that's kind of been the theme, is that it's been a stereotypical John Cena promo, but he's done it so well that it is starting to garner this momentum and this kind of reaction from people, like, and I'm still so split about whether or not it's gonna happen, and that in itself is so, it's just great work by WWE. I think that the fact that we don't know what's gonna happen.
But if it does, this is the thing I've been thinking about over the last couple of days, probably since Raw on Monday, is if it does happen, like, because he didn't come out on Raw on Monday, I thought he was gonna. I thought they'd leave it to last week. They don't need it to sell any tickets or promote the event, so they could leave it that late. But when he didn't come out, that then got me thinking, well, how are they going to shoehorn this in? Like, if Cena's going to be in the crowd, so to speak, how? I don't know. Like,
because I'm a massive smark, I thought he was going to come out on SmackDown because it's where he started.
It's
where he made his name. He's going to come out on SmackDown, but no, they stuck a massive middle finger to me. It is that thing of like, if Cena's in the crowd, like, how do you shoehorn, and as you said, how do you segue into that then becoming a match? I guess it's gonna have to be
fantasy booking time.
Ding 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 ding. Go for it.
What if WrestleMania starts, Cena comes out at the start and does a promo about how he's not got what he wanted and he's just going to go and sit in the crowd with the fans, and then something goes down to set it up for later in the evening, whatever that is, I don't know, maybe Kane coming out. But I don't know how they're going to shoehorn it in. I was just thinking that off the top of my head. But
it's do you remember Ted DiBiase Jr. and he used to do his tailgate parties?
I think so. Yeah,
that's what I want from John Cena at WrestleMania 34. It's like they start really early on like Instagram or something, and he's outside, he's chilling with the fans, and then he just gets into the stadium, he's kicking back, and then Undertaker doesn't turn up, and just John Cena just sits there in the crowd. Like, the only alternative to this is, before we get on to like actually whether it's going to happen, is that there are a lot of alternatives that you can have if Taker, for whatever reason, doesn't want to do it. Like you said, you've got Joe. You've got Big Show's probably a bit too, like, doesn't seem maybe right. You've got Kane, but they've already done that. And the other one for me is maybe, I'm like, in no means, like, I did see something on Name Redacted. They did a list. And one of the things I'd quite like to see is, if it's not Taker, I'd really like it to be Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
Not as in
I saw that.
Yeah, they're like Bray Wyatt's going to be the Undertaker. And I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is it's kind of, again, it comes full circle. At WrestleMania 30, John Cena defeated Bray Wyatt, and that was kind of like that really big damaging loss for Bray Wyatt, where he kind of, for essentially 4 years, has been wandering in the wilderness. He hasn't had much to do.
Yeah,
I know he won the title last year, but it was so disappointing. Is maybe you go, well, okay, Undertaker can't do it for whatever reason or doesn't want to do it. So you bring out Bray Wyatt, who's, you know, all spooky dooky and stuff.
Yeah.
Bringing back maybe isn't, like they said, the Lake and reincarnation, maybe an earlier iteration of him where he wore the Hawaiian shirts and stuff, and then have him beat Cena. And instantly you've reignited a star in Bray Wyatt. You've instantly got this character now that has all of this mystique around him. Like, is he connected to the Undertaker? Is he, you know? So I think if it's not Taker, I really want it to be Wyatt, and I really want Wyatt to win. But I know it's not going to be. That was just an offshoot of where we think the match is going to happen or not.
If it is Taker, do you want him back as Taker or as the American Badass?
This was obviously the next. Again, sorry, just to back up Mr. Cannadian's point, is that you have built up Taker turning out, and if he doesn't, then you are going to have people so massively annoyed at Taker not being there. Whether he comes out yes or no, I don't know. I'm really torn by this. I'm really, really torn by whether he comes out as Undertaker or American Badass.
I am too. I am.
The only way, I don't know. They could do what they did at WrestleMania 20, where the dead rises again.
Yeah.
And they did that thing with Kane where he came out and it was the first time he'd been seen, obviously. Because it's just, if he comes back as American Badass, it just feels a little bit inconsistent considering he came back at Raw 25 as the dead man.
Yeah.
And again, that's where it kind of, they let themselves down because they don't really have a story as to why the American Badass. Yes, he left his coat and hat in the ring last year, but again, that could mean anything. Do you know, like, do you get what I mean? So I think
that's a good point. Yeah, the hat and jacket is still in the ring from last year.
Now that is, why is Mr. Cannadian not? Why is he not on this stream? Like, just why is he not here? Why is he not chatting on this stream? We need him to be fantasy booking with us.
Yeah, the ultimate fantasy booker.
The ultimate fantasy booker, right? I'm gonna jump in, and I'm gonna what he said there is actually a really good point. And it could be a massive troll.
Yeah.
Is that maybe like they do start with Cena sitting in the crowd? I don't think they do it. I don't think that would be the curtain jerker. I don't think they'd open with the Undertaker, but just at some point in the night, they have Cena sitting in the front row eating popcorn, lights go black, like Taker's gears in the ring like it was last year. Cena like gets out, goes to like pick it up, lights go out again, and then there's the dead man behind him, and he like choke slams him.
Yeah.
And they don't have the match, but it sets something up further down the line.
Yeah.
I think people would be okay with that, and I'm fine with that. And where you lead to that is that you have it build up to like Survivor Series, and then that's where Taker officially retires, because obviously he's kind of, again, full circle where he started his career was at Survivor Series. So you have it end at Survivor Series. I think that's a really nice kind of bookend. But sorry, to go back to the point, I just keep shirking it, is whether he turns up as Biker Taker or not. I'm going to throw it to you. I'm gonna throw it to you. What do you think?
I find it really. I really like it. The whole whatever has gone on for the last year, from WrestleMania 33 to this point. Looking back on it, I really like it because we've got so many things in play that have never. Well, there's one big thing that's in play that's never been explained. Is has the Undertaker retired or not? Basically, right. Because the WWE haven't acknowledged it.
Can I just interject? Because I've seen loads of people talking about this, and I bought my nephew the WWE annual 2000 last year's annual at Christmas, and in that it does mention, it says that the Undertaker is retired. Okay. It says it's got like a WrestleMania recap, and it says in that Roman Reigns like retired the Undertaker. That's the first acknowledgement I've seen of it. So
that's fine. But then why bother Michael Cole every now and again going the apparent retirement or what?
Exactly.
Make cloudy in the waters. Maybe that is the whole thing though, because Undertaker has always been fiercely kayfabe and keeping it within wrestling, and maybe that's the way to keep his legacy going, is just by not retiring him essentially and making him mortal essentially.
Exactly, because he's gone away for years before and come back, so it's
and the fact
it was only the symbolism of last year, really. That's
the fact that he's had hip replacement and stuff as well, which essentially allows him to carry on a bit longer. And then there's other things in play for Sunday which they've kind of planted, which need to happen. Cena needs to be in the crowd because he has made a point of saying that he's going to be there as a fan. So if they just suddenly switch it at that he's backstage or whatever, then it completely negates his whole argument of I'm one of the fans, I want to be there. So that's one thing. The fact that they've mentioned Undertaker, like Mr. Candane said, is they've alluded to it, which WWE don't normally do. Like if something's not on the cards, they won't even kind of pander to fan whatever blood essentially. But they have acknowledged it. So I think he will be there in some capacity. Whether it's a match, I don't know. Whether it's American Badass, I'm undecided on, because purely for the fact is my kind of hiatus from wrestling was at the period The Undertaker was the American Badass. So I have no idea, this is being completely honest and transparent, what he was like as the American Badass. I've seen, I think it was his debut as the American Badass, where he just comes down the ramp and beats the crap out of everyone. But I don't know as a whole if it was well received back then as him as the American Badass or not, or I don't know. It was very kind of early 2000s new metal kind of era. So I don't know if you can shed any light on that. Whether will it be a good reaction if he comes back as the American Badass over the Undertaker?
Well, this is like the kind of thing for me, is that when I remember the Undertaker as the Undertaker, but like my like proper memories of like wrestling is that kind of 2002, 2004 early time of SmackDown, and I remember the badass Undertaker being a badass, and I suppose I was like 10 around that time, so I wouldn't have really thought about it. So it's completely different to you. You weren't there, but I was there, but not. And I loved the Undertaker no matter what. Do you know what I mean? He was always the coolest, and you know, his feud with Brock. I think the fans accepted it, but if you look back now at that, it's kind of like, did it work? Did it not? I'm not sure whether you can bring him back as the dead man, because like the Undertaker is, because I've totally lost my train of thought. You can't bring. I don't know if you can bring him back as the American Badass because it doesn't work, because there's been no build to it. If that makes any sort of sense.
No, yeah, that's how I feel. I feel in the nicest possible terms. I feel since WrestleMania 30 with the Undertaker, it's just been a bit of a clusterfuck essentially. Brock beating the streak, which was a great moment, but in the grand scheme of things, was it right? I don't know. Then with Roman winning last year and obviously leaving his stuff in the ring, then that's also painted the Undertaker into a corner, which is hard to come back from. I don't know. See, like my personal opinion is I grew up with the Undertaker like through the 90s, and he was the Undertaker. That is all I've known him as. And to see him come out as a different product, I don't know if that excites me enough to warrant a match with Cena.
No,
I just don't know. I don't know what I feel about it. I like the idea of it, but
exactly the same. I think seeing the American Badass, but it was such a short time as well, like 4 years. You think this guy's had like what, a 30-year career? Like he's known as the Undertaker. He's known as the Undertaker. So I don't know. Like if they'd have built the only kind of thing I go back to is Cena's debut. He was the American Badass, and they had that kind of thing after the match. So again, it's kind of been the theme of this story is it goes full circle. But then to not have him show up before then is the kind of letdown, I think, is that if you're bringing back the American Badass Undertaker, people need to know. Whereas if he just pops up at Mania, it does feel a little bit disjointed. Whereas if he turns up as the Undertaker at Mania, it's fine because people accept that, people know, people understand that is the Undertaker. So it's a very odd thing.
I think there's two things at play here with the WWE. They've been doing it a lot more recently, and we've spoken about it in the past, is they're playing the long game a lot more. So there's two things I think are in play. One is that this has been on the cards. This match, Cena, Undertaker, WrestleMania 34, has been on the cards for a long while, probably pre-WrestleMania 33. And there's going to be a huge payoff to it or whatever it is at some point, whether it's on Sunday or leading on down the future. Mm-hmm. The flip side of that is, which WWE can be known for as well, is for whatever reason, Undertaker's come back in January or whatever and said, yeah, actually I want to wrestle at WrestleMania, and no one's going to say no to the Undertaker. No. And they've put something together quickly and not worried about our thoughts on the background of it or the reasoning behind it, or do you know what I mean? And that, I think that it's one or the other. I want it to be the first one. I want there to be like this amazing payoff on Sunday of whatever it may be. But just little things like if you did want to plan a year in advance, you could have Taker beating Roman last year, then Cena coming out and destroying him or something. Do you know what I mean? Like, it smacks of this has been put together at last minute.
Yeah.
And with Kid Rock being inducted and stuff, I do think he's going to come back as the American Badass.
Because obviously, as you say, you have Kid Rock performing his theme, which I can't remember. I only remember Limp Bizkit doing the Undertaker's theme.
Oh, I've just thought something. Like a little kid.
Go for it.
How about this? Obviously, Cena has been calling out the Undertaker non-stop, right? He's not reacted at all. What if he comes out at the start of the night or at some point during the night and says to Cena, it's going to be obviously put more eloquently than this, but the Undertaker is dead, but the American Badass isn't, and I'm happy to come and kick your ass. Like, because Cena's been really taunting him on Twitter and stuff now, and putting pictures of dogs shitting him out and stuff. And I think that could play into the American Badass character of, I'm just going to come down and beat the shit out of you later on in the night. And do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like they do it like I'm here, like the Undertaker is dead, long live the Undertaker kind of thing.
Yeah. But I can still come down and beat her ass if I need to.
Yeah. It's so difficult, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's so difficult how they have really booked themselves into a corner.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. But that's why everyone's tuning in.
It's to see what happens. Does the Undertaker and I'm fine either way. From what I've seen, he looks really healthy, which is great because he looked like, I felt bad for him last year. He just looked like an old man, which is not what you want to see the Undertaker look like.
I think we had a discussion about it, that it was a bit hard to watch, wasn't it? But
it was like, it was just really sad. And I know he's had the hip surgery and stuff, but it's like, was he happy the way he went out? And is that why he wants to come back?
Yeah, maybe.
Because he feels like he's now in that place where he can have a better match, and kind of him beating Cena doesn't really affect Cena.
It's what everyone wants, isn't it? That's what everyone's wanted for a long while.
Everyone's wanted it for 15 years, if not more. So it's nice that they're doing it, but it's one of them. It's really difficult. It's really difficult as a fan.
I think we'll be having lots of WhatsApp chat on Sunday night.
I think we will. Is he coming? Yeah. I just hope the network doesn't crash like it did for the Royal Rumble for me.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if it did for me. Can't remember. One did. Can't remember what it was.
I think I ended up being about 40 minutes behind on the Rumble.
Oh, you did, didn't you? Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Which was annoying because we couldn't talk about anything because I didn't want to skip anything. But I'm gonna be sitting there from like 7:30, like with the stream on, waiting for it on the network, watching all the kickoff show, and see what happens.
To wrap this up, Taker comes back. Cena, Taker. Who wins? One word.
I don't know.
So hard.
For the fact that I don't see what either man now gets out of it, I'm going to go for Taker.
Okay. I think Taker as well. I think in talking to you, and this is what inevitably happens, I think he's just going to, however it works out, he's going to come as essentially Mark Calloway or the American Badass and just beat Cena down and win.
He go whoop his ass.
Whether that is the final shot of WrestleMania 34. I mean, WrestleMania 33, the final shots were pretty iconic. So
yeah,
how do you beat that essentially?
So whoops his ass, and then the final shot of Mania 34 is Undertaker doing that, and then he comes out.
Do that again. You went on the screen.
So he wins, and then he goes down, and he goes, John Cena will rest in peace. And then on Monday he comes out and he retires, and he says, The Undertaker will now rest in peace. And he, as Mr. Canadane said earlier in the stream, that's Taker's big retirement. Is he beats Cena and he goes out, and that's it. We don't see him again, and it's definitive.
Okay, cool. So should we end on that? I've just been asked if we're going to do a takeover stream. We could do one if you're around tomorrow.
I might be around in the morning. Yes.
Yeah.
We'll have to. We'll WhatsApp.
Yeah. Cool.
we'll WhatsApp and see. I'd like to, because it's pretty stacked. Let me just check quickly the matches. Let's take over New Orleans, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice, isn't it? 5 matches. We'll get through that in about 4 hours.
I was hoping this stream was going to be about 25 minutes, 30 minutes. I think we're hour and a half now.
An hour and 35 minutes.
Excellent.
But it's all been quality content.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, I think I've been late to the party with WrestleMania this year. I don't know if you remember last year, I was proper into it, and I went down to London to the WrestleMania store.
Yeah, you went to the store and stuff, yeah.
And got my figures. But yeah, but it's been good doing this with you, mate. It's been 9 months, I think.
It's been 9 months, and I really hope this continues. I think we've gained a fan in Mr. Canadane.
Yeah, just to put it in context, Mr. Canadane, we kind of done the channel this time last year, didn't we? And then we both got busy with work and stuff, and it dropped off. And we kind of got back together for WrestleMania to do it, and hope it continues more. Maybe we should do it weekly or something, once weekly.
Mega Powers return.
Yeah.
That was our original plan, was to do it once a week, just so these streams didn't end up like 4 hours long. But it would be bloody lovely. It would be bloody lovely to carry on doing this, because I know, like you, Mr. Canada, he subbed to me as well, which is amazing. So thank you very much. There was something I was going to say. Yeah, it's really nice, and I don't know how you feel about this, Mr. Canada, as well. It's that, like, it's really weird to be a wrestling fan. Mr. Canada, I don't know how old you are. I'm sorry, so I'm clubbing you in this, but to be an adult and be a wrestling fan is very weird. There's a weird stigma around it. Everybody thinks you're like really fat and smell. Like, still
I am.
Yeah, so am I. But yeah, we don't really fit into the stereotype very well. But there's this weird stigma around like wrestling fans, like when you're over a certain age, and it's just really nice to come and talk in a really non-cynical way about wrestling and just let it all literally hang out and enjoy it. And it's a beautiful thing.
It is.
Thank you for Mr. Canadane for joining us on this weird journey.
And obviously, you'll get a notification if we do a NXT one.
Yeah, we might try and finagle that. Hopefully, I don't know what your schedule is next week, Mark, but hopefully we'll try and do maybe a post-Mania stream and maybe a Raw after Mania, and then we'll just die.
Yeah.
Thank you. That. I know. Thank you very much. You stop it, Mr. Canada.
But I think we should end on that note.
I think we should end on a really, really high note and
enjoy WrestleMania, Mr. Candane.
Mr.
Hope we've been pronouncing it right, but enjoy WrestleMania. Let us know what you think.
Before we go, as we always shall, because this is the one thing I remember we used to do, is Mr. Candane, if you've got Twitter, why don't you hit us up on Twitter? Mark's Twitter is...
your Twitter is...
My Twitter is JamieHughes17. So, Mr. Candane, if you want to chat about Mania and all that jazz with us over WrestleMania weekend, give us a follow on Twitter, and I'm sure we'll follow you back because it's been a pleasure. And Mark's Twitter is... Now I've stalled for as long as I can.
It is.
Mark's Twitter is...
MarkJames_media. And as I go on Twitter, there is a WWE tweet about Stephanie McMahon. What a surprise. She is Mrs. WrestleMania, though. That's the thing.
Mrs. Ladyballs, as Ross from Cultaholic would say. So I'm Jamie Hughes 70 on Twitter. Mark is Mr. Mark James _UK. Did I say that right?
Yep.
Yeah. So follow us on Twitter, and I'm sure we'll chat to you over Mania weekend.
Excellent.
We might see you for an NXT predictions stream and possibly more in the future. But stick around, guys. For anybody watching this on the replay, who sits for an hour of our drivel and fantasy booking, then we're hoping to do these once a week.
One last thing to say. I just want to congratulate you on Happy Rusev Day.
Happy Rusev Day to you all.
Yeah. And we shall see you soon.
And we shall see you soon. And until then...
Peace out.
Whoa, come on, you got to do your proper sign-off. We had a dead good sign-off.
What did I do?
Did you used to do Mark out?
Oh, I did, didn't I? Yeah.
Mate, I'm going to have to find somebody else to do this bloody stream with. You can't even remember your own bloody sign.
Mark out. What did you used to do?
Oh, I don't know. I had a really rubbish one. Like, I don't know. I just say bye, I think.
You used to do intros, though, didn't you? You used to sing themes.
I did. I used to sing at the beginning of streams.
Go and watch the old streams, Mr. Candane, and you'll see Jamie singing of the WWE themes.
Yeah. So
we're dragging this out now. So
I know we're dragging. So I will do one more. I'm gonna do a big Rusev Day. Then you say Mark out, and we'll end it. That's how we'll do it.
Okay.
So have a lovely Rusev Day, and don't forget to
Mark out.
Boom, and we'll end with a dab.